Yo, what's going on guys? HyperX here, and today I want to put together a video on some handy accessories you might want to grab, some of the best accessories you should be getting for your Nintendo Switch OLED. I mean, admittedly, these would also work for a regular Switch, but in light of the fact that the OLED recently came out, I had to go and get some new accessories for that device. So given that I've purchased some of these things, I thought I'd put together a video on some of the best. Also, important to note, this is not a sponsored video. I purchased all of these items off Amazon myself. There is no affiliation in here. There is one product, which is our own product, a product that we've developed, which of course I will share with you later on. But fundamentally, this is not a sponsored video. It's just, I've got some accessories, let's talk about them. So if you guys do enjoy this, a like would be super appreciated. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have picked up anything cool for your Switch, whether it be OLED or regular. And of course, don't forget to subscribe if you guys have been enjoying the content lately. But accessory number one are grips. Now, I'll be honest, these are not the grips that I want to be using. Ideally, if any of you guys have used, say, the Satisfy grips or the Skull & Co grips in the past, I have the Satisfy one for my Switch Lite. They are working on one for the Switch OLED. I know there's a Betamax one coming out, which looks incredibly cool, but alas, I do not have that right now, so I can't talk about that for the time being. I have ordered the Skull & Co one, which will be arriving, but probably not for about 25 days, and I wanted to make this video today. So for the time being, I will mention it. This one I do like because if you look at it on the website, one of the cool things is that it actually has a space at the back because of course the Switch OLED has that nice stand, and they've specifically put the sort of backing plate in a position whereby it allows the stand to function so you still get the best use out of it. But of course, grips are just really handy because one of the nice things about the OLED is that the screen is so good that you want to play in handheld. Like, I love playing games in handheld. I love playing my like Metroidvanias and my roguelites just in handheld mode. It is a fantastic experience. And if you've got big hands, after a while, you kind of get cramp on regular Joy-Cons. So that's where the grips come in. Now, I picked up two off Amazon because right now in the UK, this was about the best I could get. There's one from, I'll be honest, this is Graphic Design 101. If you can't read your logo, how the hell are you supposed to sell the product? I don't know if this is Oivo, Oivo, I don't even know. It doesn't matter. Either way, from the two that I purchased, this one is probably the better one because this one has some nice little sort of rubber inserts. It's a little bit of a snug fit to the point where I was a little bit uneasy putting the Switch in, but it does have rubber feet, so I think that does kind of protect the Switch anyway. This one has its own sort of bespoke kickstand, which I'll be honest, is a bit weird. Like, functionally it works, but it doesn't have as many sort of angles as, say, the Switch OLED stand itself, so it's not as useful. That being said, they did also sneak in an extra little function at the back where the sort of back plate, the spine of these grips, so to speak, they've basically doubled it up as a cartridge storage, so you can put some in there. They do stay pretty snug. There isn't like an easy way to get them out, so it's not perfect by design, but it's like a optional use of that space. That being said, in the UK, on Amazon, it's probably the best grip I was able to get right now, at least until I can get the Satisfy or the Skull & Co one. The other one, unnamed brand, I don't even know who it is. This one, I don't like at all. I won't even use this one. It has an interesting idea in that, of course, it expands and you sort of pull this thing open so it can clamp around your Switch, but because you have to expand it widthways and height, and there's no rubber feet inside it, I didn't really want to put my Switch in. I started putting it in, and I was like, you know what? Given how finicky it is to do this, I feel like this is probably going to scratch my console, and I didn't want to do it. So you know what? I don't recommend this one. I don't even know what the brand is to be able to tell you not to get this one, but this weird pulley, extendy, whatever it is, no. Also, additionally, it has a kickstand, but you have to just put it in as a separate thing. Like, you slide it in, and then you take it out. It's a weird design. Anyway, that aside, I do still recommend getting grips of some capacity for your Switch OLED because it does make playing games incredibly comfortable for more extended periods of time, but maybe if I were to recommend something, I'd say either wait for the Satisfy one, the sort of new one that does fit the Switch OLED, or grab the Skull & Co one because that is a nice design. Anyway, moving on from there to the next thing, of course, if you don't want grips, you do have the Hori Split Pad Pro. These things are fantastic. I love these. I use these on my Switch, the old Switch, loads. I mean, admittedly, they don't have battery power, so you can't use them as like detachable Joy-Cons. They do have to be attached to the console, but they are so incredibly comfortable. They do make it pretty big. I mean, I feel like that's borderline competing with the size of the Steam Deck now, given how wide they are. but they make for incredibly comfortable gameplay. It's basically like holding a Pro Controller. You have some paddles on the back. I've never actually used the paddles, but they are there if you want that function. So if you don't want to have a grip and you just want to have something you can sort of add on and detach, then definitely have them. Just keep in mind, because they're bulky, a lot of Nintendo Switch cases don't factor that in, so they're not necessarily the most portable thing because you can't always fit them into other cases. You could just throw them in your bag if you want to, but just keep that in mind. Then moving on to point number 3 is a case. Now this is the product, of course, that is ours. I'm sure a lot of you guys already know about this. We've spoken about this in the past, but the ENDGAME case, ENDGAME brand is of course our brand where we sell t-shirts, clothing. We've sold some licensed goods earlier in the year. We sold the Monster Hunter Cable Bites, and we also have our own custom built Nintendo Switch case. We built this because basically there wasn't a case that did exactly what we wanted. We wanted a case that looked cool, that was sturdy, but had enough space to store stuff and didn't have, you know how in some cases you have that really annoying way to store your cartridges where you just have to like slide it underneath a piece of material, and then when you try to get it out, I didn't like that at all. So we basically developed a case which holds 14 game cards in this really cool vertical storage system, incredibly easy to take them out, but they are very nice and secure. It also holds 2 spare Joy-Cons, some accessories, in a nice flap, keeps everything secure, nice sort of material on the inside, and it also fits your Nintendo Switch OLED because there is a little bit of wiggle room in this case. The Switch OLED is 1mm bigger than the regular Switch, but it works fine in this case. So if you guys like this, then consider checking it out. I will drop a link to the ENDGAME website in the description box down below. You can grab one of those. Of course, outside of that, if you don't want to, you can use pretty much any standard Switch case. I will say if it's a really, really snug case, you might be a little bit hard pushed because it is 1mm bigger, but provided there's a little bit of wiggle room, then you'll be fine with whatever case. Outside of that, of course, screen protectors. You know, it's kind of like a must, especially if you want to be playing in handheld. I have a love-hate relationship with screen protectors. They're very useful. You need them. I can't for the life of me put them on without getting a bubble. I swear you need some kind of magic powers to be able to do that. Either way, it is useful, and I picked up the Owsley ones because they're pretty nice. They are the tempered glass ones, so they've kind of got a nice sort of sturdy feel to them. They do provide plenty of protection, and they're also really easy to take off, so of course if it does get scratched, this one comes with 4, so you can take it off and put on a new one. So screen protectors, kind of a must if you're playing remotely. And of course, finally, we have the SD cards. These aren't anything new, but if you are switching over to a new console, yes, you could just take the card out your old console, but I am kind of keeping some games on my old system so I can sort of jump between them when I want to. So I picked up a new one. I do like the fact that you can sort of get the Nintendo themed ones now. So if you want like the really big card, it's Animal Crossing designed, but that is quite expensive. So I kind of dropped down and got like the Star one because it was a decent price, decent size. This is a 256GB one. That is plenty of space for me, and of course just means you can expand your games library. So there you have it. That's a little rundown on a few things, a few accessories that I think are really good for the Switch OLED. Those are some of the things that I've been picking up recently. Once I do get the Skull & Co grip, if you guys want to sort of see a more in-depth look at that, I'll be more than happy to do a video on it, but it won't be arriving for about a month. So let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you want to see that in action once it arrives, because that one does look to be one of the best grips out there. Anyway, let me know. Otherwise, catch you guys in the next one. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to catch more from us, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our latest uploads. And if you want somewhere to hang out, play games, or chat all things from games to anime, food to fitness, consider joining the HyperX Gaming Discord.